My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. And tonight was a night, and last night was also a night, and a quarter part of Nigella week.
It was. Started off with a roast dinner, finished with some dessert.
And then whatever the fuck the other challenge was. So I put out a bit of a... I've got to start with the poll. So I put out a poll, and I said, it feels wrong to ask this question, but has Nigella week been a bit dull?
Yep.
89% of voters said yes, and that was not like only a couple of people voting.
Like, I'm a big Nigella fan, but she's not the darling Nigella we've come to know and love. I don't know
the challenges have been bland, and it's not about home cooking. You can do good home cooking and not make a roast chicken and pick two sides.
No, I liked that challenge. It's just a bit meh.
See, I didn't like it because one of the things they seemed to struggle with was making sides.
Yeah, that's what really disappointed me. And who just serves two sides? Like, usually it's minimum 3.
And what's this shit about Australians love to serve roast carrots?
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
I do, but I also like to serve pumpkin.
Yeah, like, pumpkin would have been an option.
Roast fennel's not my go-to, but I see how that fit the brief. So
I mean, potatoes were a must, but... You know, and duck fat potatoes. We'll come to that. We'll come to that in a moment.
And Hasselback potatoes are life.
Yeah, Hasselback potatoes are.
It was
life.
like our like what's it called? Potato off. Your duck fat potatoes versus my Hasselback
potatoes. Only one shall survive.
And it was Hasselback.
So yeah, it was. You're right. It was Hasselback. Don't worry about the meowing. By the way, we have cats in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
Because the studio, of course, is populated by wildlife and animals. So we let in with Abby.
Yeah.
Who said that, look, yesterday was a bit of a crappy day.
You think?
It was a crappy day because of what you did. Look,
yeah.
and I know some people, you're being harsh on Abby here. No, we're really not. And especially
I'm sorry,
since...
Abby, you've slipped out of my top 3.
And especially since, if I'm everybody else in there, I am really pissed off that the person who got us all into elimination in the first place just fucking skated.
Yeah, just... rocked it, produced good food and survived because...
And had to produce it late, by the way, because she was struggling early on.
Yeah,
so,
but, she came out of it on top.
I mean, kudos for her for making a good meal there and rebounding. But the other big problem about that was that, again, if I'm the people that were put into the elimination in the first place, I'm really fucking angry, especially Monica, because poor Monica goes home. She was the one who Abby came out of there and went... She came out and Abby looked at her and went, well, I haven't given you an idea. I've just got everything out of the kitchen and put it on the bench for you.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here because I've been thinking about this. Now,
go for it.
Okay, there's 5 people on a team. Abby didn't set it up strongly. However, 4 more people coming in that had a chance to put some cohesion in. And I'm looking at Monica and I'm looking at Mandy because they were the next 2 cabs off the rank. And
they did put a bit of cohesion in, though, but the problem was, for example, they talked about the ice cream idea and they couldn't have set the ice cream because they didn't have enough time.
Yes, so fuck off the ice cream and get something else going then because, yeah, I just think, Kyle was able to do something in the last 15 minutes to put some pistachios on the plate, which saved some necks. And, you know what I mean? Like, you can jump in.
They could have come up with something, but by the same token... One person clearly didn't.
Oh, yeah. No, Abby's not excused. I'm just saying that...
Well, the others should have done something. I agree with that the others should have done something. And they tried.
And it's a shit that they were in that situation.
Yeah, but they were starting from... It was basically like their team had a 20-minute handicap in the challenge.
Yeah, but we've seen on Masterchef before where someone is working away, and the last 15 minutes it just blows up in their face and they've pulled some other thing out and saved their ass.
So the other team just did it at the start then?
Sorry, I don't...
I said, you said that they've done it, they've cooked and at the end it's blown up in their face. And I said, in this case, that team just did it at the start.
Yeah. So, why end with a bang when you start with a bang?
So we got into the challenge and I have to mention Leah because is there a point in life where Leah is not just so overly cheery?
No. Leah is like Joy from what's that show called with the movie with all the emotions in that kid's head?
Emoji Movie?
No, not. It's the one with joy and sadness.
What's he up?
No, it's not up.
No, not up. It's something up. Growing up, being up, something.
Filling up.
We'll work it out. It's not filling up. That's
shooting up.
okay. From that great children's movie, Something Up. So from Something Up.
Yep, starring Leah.
Yeah, she really is. We're gonna Inside Out. Duh.
Something Up.
Something Up. Okay. Episode is titled Something Up. But no, she is. She's so bubbly, and look, it's lovely, but God, it's a bit forced.
I just like to think off camera she just goes completely like resting bitch face.
The one thing I'm going to say about Leah, and I'll say it now, is that I actually appreciated at the end where they were tasting her food and they said, what do you hope to get out of this? And you're waiting for her to say, I want my own restaurant and I want to do this and this and this. And she went, I've worked out I don't really know anything.
Yep.
And I need to do a lot of education because I need to learn.
Yep.
And I like the fact that you've actually got a young contestant on Masterchef who's looked around in the first couple of weeks and gone, I don't know.
I have a passion, I've got an interest, but you know what? I don't know everything. I'm just going to keep exploring.
Yeah, what I've learnt is I need to learn.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. So I'll give her a lot of credit for that. Now they said you had to make two sides, and I think it was Larissa who went, I don't know what sides I do with roast chicken, and everyone laughed, and you could just see it look like, no, I mean it.
No, we don't do.
And
this
that was followed up by Larissa saying a phrase that I never heard anyone say. I'm not going to make potatoes because I don't make anything I don't eat, and I don't eat roast potatoes.
Wow. I understand, though, because when I went through a weird phase, I couldn't stand roast potatoes for about 3 months. It was not good. It was sadness on a plate.
That's a bad place to be in.
It's like all the joy has seeped out of your life that even roast potatoes won't taste.
I was about to say. I mean, I know obviously a lot of other things, deep things happening there, but I mean the loss of roast potato.
It really cut deep.
Well, not that deep because the crunchy ends of the roast potatoes weren't there.
I could go into my face and just turn to chalk.
So we started the challenge, and then the challenge proceeded unabated, and they cooked a chicken.
Yeah.
It was...
I mean, I just found Nigella's recipe to be overly fussy, and I'm sure it tastes delicious, but this whole stuffing of butter and herbs under a skin, nah.
Yeah, this was my favourite part of the episode because, look, we're not really talking out of school here to suggest that maybe
my roast chicken is the best.
But maybe, before we get to that, like nothing happened in this episode. Like nothing happened in this episode. And... so they're doing all the stuff with the chicken. My favourite part of this episode was Kristie looks at it and she's like, oh, that's far too overboard. Who the hell would do that? And then she goes, because she was out of the room for a minute, she goes, oh, are they making Nigella's recipe? And I went, yeah. She goes, oh, Nigella.
Yeah, just disappointment. Like I know it tastes beautiful and butter makes everything better, but like for me, that's just too much effort.
It did seem like a lot of effort to go to.
I go to a lot of effort to make the stuffing for our chicken.
Yeah, your stuffing takes a while.
But it's fucking delicious.
It's worth it.
The thing that tastes the longest is grating the apple because I'm always afraid I'm going to grate my knuckles and no one wants knuckles in their stuffing.
As a person who has grated their knuckle.
No, didn't you slice it?
No, I grated the knuckle. I sliced part of my thumb.
Human flesh.
I had every part of my hands when I moved in. And very quickly, I grated a knuckle off.
The house exacts of blood.
Yeah, and then
blood
sliced part of a finger. So, actually, I didn't grate the knuckle off. I used a V-slicer to take it off.
That's it.
Because my hand got under the guard.
Mandolin just...
Yeah, my hand got under the guard on the mandolin, and we didn't use those onions. So, God, it hurts. Now... I kind of warmed a bit more to Mandy in this episode.
Yep.
Primarily because her duck fat potatoes were really good.
I just felt sorry for her when she just did that little turn, grabbed the fucking stock and into the beautiful gravy she'd made it. It's like,
And Nigella's standing there going, what did you do that for? I tasted it. It was good. And you saw Mandy go, I don't know.
If you do that shit at home, you've got an extra hour to just like brown off the gravy. Like, just render it off. What do you do? I don't know. Boil it down.
You sing Paul Kelly's How to Make Gravy and then don't use the recipe.
Little squirt of tomato sauce.
No, never use a little squirt of tomato sauce. It's like, but again, it's a bit like other recipes. And again, if you've never, and I've recommended this a million times, and I'll recommend it a million times more. If you have never watched Binging with Babish, I suggest you do, where he makes all the finest foods and some of the least fine foods from television. And he made Chef's chocolate salty balls, and it was only in the episode where he made Chef's chocolate salty balls that you realise there's no chocolate nor salt in chocolate salty balls.
So there's 2 or 3 egg whites.
Yeah, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 or 3 egg whites, a half a stick of butter, melted. Whip it all in a bowl, baby, and serve it with a wooden spoon. There's none. So he makes them, realising that there is no chocolate
or salty balls.
Or salt in chocolate salty balls, and then makes his own recipe.
Yes. So, what was I going to add to this?
I don't know.
We were talking about things. Oh, my brain's just gone. Oh, fuck it. Move on.
Move on? We'll come back to it later.
I'll remember it and talk over you.
So, what we did find was that Larissa decided to move at about the speed of continental drift.
There was no hustle. It was like she used all of her energy to catch that half lemon. And then in the credits...
If you haven't listened to it, we did a 20-minute bit where we went over the credits and it's fun. But she was so slow.
Yeah.
And they walked over and they're like, chop, 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 chop. And she's like, I'll get there.
Whatever. It's roast chicken, man.
Larissa could not
Two sides.
Larissa could not have given less of a shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's an elimination. And she's just like,
whatever.
Yeah. I'm roasting a fucking chicken. I don't really roast a chicken. Have some fennel. I don't like. I don't do potatoes.
Side? Oh, carrots.
Yeah, she was one of the carrots ones.
What would you do as your sides? I mean, duck fat potatoes, and then
duck fat potatoes.
Okay.
No, I did pumpkin.
If pumpkin,
I do pumpkin because I mean you've seen like the pumpkin that I do. Again, the charring on the pumpkin. There needs to be a little bit of burnt to it. For the pumpkin, because you've got to have that sort of burnt flavour to, what would you go with?
Well, I've just remembered what I was going to say is that my mind was blown the day I found out that gravy was traditionally made without grey box. I had no idea.
Oh, my God.
I think I was watching it on like a cooking show, like maybe Ready, Steady, Cook or...
Oh, it's nothing better than Ready, Steady, Cook.
Or something of that nature. It was early 90s.
Was it My Market Garden with Elena Duggan? Australia's Elena Duggan. My Market Garden.
Well,
on 10.
Unfortunately, that wasn't on when I was like 11
If only
12.
it was, you would have learned how to make a gravy from the markets from My Market Garden, Elena Duggan, Channel 10.
And
by the way, not paid, just hi, Elena.
Obviously, I hadn't heard the Paul Kelly song either. And if I did, I probably just would have presumed that it was all based around Greybox and he was just adding extra things in it to be fancy.
Like tomato sauce.
Like tomato sauce.
Which is what you add to make it fancy.
Yeah. Or you could be like my uncle who just added tomato sauce to everything. Like, fuck gravy.
That was my brother's routine.
Oh, really?
Hi, Andrew. I know you'll never listen to this, but hi.
Have some tomato. I know to get in for breakfast.
No, we used to have a bit of a breakfast. That's interesting. What we used to do was when we go to a restaurant, he'd order whatever he was ordering and a bowl of tomato sauce. And it got to the point where it was more about the tomato sauce than whatever it was. It was like, what are you having with your tomato sauce, Andrew? And he'd have nuggets, but he'd have a bowl of sauce that was like a soup bowl and like 6 nuggets.
Yeah.
And so the bowl of tomato sauce, it barely touched any of it because he'd like scooping it, like eating it like it was soup spoons. The bowl of sauce just wasn't going anywhere because it was a full bowl.
Well, I'm just loving watching my little nephew's palate develop. He's 1.5 and we're at Mother's Day on Sunday. Sorry, it's anecdote night. Why? Because Nigella...
She made a fucking roast chicken with sides. What do you want us to do?
Yeah. And anyway... So we're there, we've laid out this amazing cheese platter. Like, we went to the fancy Adrio down in Tarrant Point, got all the fancy cheeses, and to go with that, some cabanossi and some pate, don't get me wrong. And so there's my little nephew come along because it's on these, like, lower table. And he's just, like, comes up, he's a bandit for the Jats biscuits, and we got him to try some cabanossi. And, oh, my God, mind blown, that's all he wanted after that. And then just, to turn it up, I was offered by him a handful of pate.
That is now the new measurement.
Just a handful of pate.
A handful of pate,
I'm like,
everybody?
oh, thank you. And I'm not one to waste pate, so I'm like, just throw me some crackers.
Now,
Much better when it's being warmed by a toddler's hand.
I only eat my pate warmed by a toddler's hand.
Bring in the toddlers.
Darling, it's the only way you can ever eat pate is warmed by a toddler's hand. Anyway, so we had a few interesting things. Poor Tessa Ketty was fed lines. She's up in the gantry, and at one point they got her to speak to Nigella, and it was about who makes the best. What they got her to ask was who makes the best chicken, in your family.
Nigella or
and so the way that she asked it though was, "Hey Nigella, who makes the best chicken recipe in your family?" In a scene that would have been not out of place in Offspring. With
you or your mum.
Yeah, with the other Ketty, the less famous Ketty, not Tessa. The less famous Ketty.
Yeah. What's her name?
She got a gold logie, I think. But
Aislinn,
Aislinn,
Amy,
Aingling,
Amanda,
Alexis, whatever her name is.
Aram.
The less important Aram, the less important Ketty. But I just thought that the way they fed her, and she clearly didn't want to say it.
No.
And they're just like, someone needs to, Tessa, you're close enough. But I don't want to say this. It's boring. I like that they just put their roll. She looked down at Nigella and went, "I'm so sorry."
Hey, Nigella, they want me to ask you this question. Is that okay? And Nigella's like, "I'm here, aren't I?
I'm being paid.
I'm being paid."
Apparently George Columbaris is my best friend ever because he said it on the project.
Oh, my God. That was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, just quickly, before we get on to the next bit of this, I just want to add that tonight, if you saw the project, Columbaris was on there. And his comment about Nigella, rather than just talk about Nigella, he's like, she's a wonderful guest host. And I must say, she's one of my closest personal friends. And I'm like, the way he felt the need to go, we're close personal friends.
And it's like the way he talks about Nigella, he would not talk about another male chef.
God, no.
But if, say, he was talking about another male chef, it'd be like, they come on, they're vibrant, they're energetic, and they just, really inspire people to blah, 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 and maybe talk about their food, blah, blah, blah. No, he says, oh, she's beautiful. Oh, inside and out.
That's been the thing, though, this week.
Yeah.
We've noticed on Twitter a lot is that a lot of males on Twitter, have to be honest, the first comment they're making about Nigella is how she looks.
Yeah.
Outfit, how she looks. Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, I love Nigella. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, God, she's gorgeous. Not, hey, there's really amazing, foodie extraordinaire Nigella Lawson.
Who, has set up a fucking business empire.
Yeah.
Weathered a lot of storms and came out of it on top.
Exactly. So the person who did, sort of one of the people who did eventually come out on top is Abby.
Yeah, she did good.
Now, as I pointed out halfway through the night, though, wait until she works out what she's cooking tonight. At the moment, it's just the elements of a roast chicken, and that will be a bit awkward when she works out she actually has to do it.
She just comes in with a ton of trays, some saucepans. What do you got there, Abby? Oh, it's an ice cream churner. You're making roast chicken. You don't know what my sides are.
Yeah, I might be going with a side of chocolate chip ice cream.
So I saved myself 30 seconds.
Chocolate chip ice cream. That's a side.
Chocolate chip Hasselback potato ice cream.
They still didn't remember, though, what Nigella said to them about tasting.
Yep.
And they all had to be yelled at by the gantry and Nigella Lawson, who then played the spoons.
Now, this is what got me right. Like, I'm all for people being assertive, and I don't think that women have to smile all the time and everything. But Nigella's a little off because she's usually able to be firm, but in a commandeering way without it bordering on a little bit of nastiness, I want to say. And because she's very good at it. And she's just not herself. I don't know if she's not well or what's going on, but she's just, it's not her usual self. And when she was approaching, who was it? Someone who didn't taste their things.
Might have even been Abby. Because Abby didn't taste originally and they yelled at her.
Oh, no, I can't remember. It might have been Sunday night that happened. where she's like, oh, you got to taste it. And I think it was Nicole.
Yeah, that's right. She told it.
It's Nicole, so it must have been Sunday night. So, yeah, she's having an off week.
But everyone kind of was. And we had tears.
Except Jess. Jess did beautifully on Sunday.
We had tears, and if you had the game card, sorry. But
tears, bandages.
Tears, bandages, jus, panna cotta. You know, we've hit some home runs this week.
Yep.
We've hit some livers hard. What we were disappointed with was that Abby at one point in her thing said, "That's me on a plate."
That's Nigella's chicken.
And I took that off the game card this week, and I'm so pissed at it.
No.
Because I could have added the people drinking.
Yeah. But you might have swapped it with something else that they're drinking over.
Might have. So let's get into tonight. So tonight was...
Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Monica went home.
Yeah, Monica went home. We sort of mentioned that at the top of it.
Oh, sorry.
But Monica went home. I felt really bad for Monica going home because she didn't feel like she had any time.
Yeah. Oh, everyone served carrots.
And potatoes, 3/4. Everyone except for Larissa served potatoes. A bunch of people served carrots. The potatoes mostly worked, except for Monica's that didn't.
Hold on. Was Leah in the elimination?
Yeah. Leah served duck. Leah copied, remember?
That's right. She made the...
Remember Monica made... Mandy made duck fat potatoes, and Leah instantly started making duck fat potatoes.
Yeah, I think they were both on the same...
They were both on the same page, but the way they did the editing and the cutting was very... Yeah. Oh, look, she's doing it too.
Yeah.
All right, so tonight... Custard.
With fish fingers. Best way to eat them, according to 11.
If you're the doctor. So...
apples. Rubbish.
Now, what's a key ingredient that goes in custard?
Eggs.
Yep. Steph, on the other hand...
She's like, fuck it. She's making magical custard with no eggs.
It was incredible.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
She's making vegan custard. She's like, fuck you, Scott Morrison.
I can do this.
Yeah. It's one thing I found quite weird when Scott Morrison had the failed egging incident, and he's like, it's people like this that are going to protest the farms. I'm like, a vegan wouldn't throw a fucking egg.
No. The vegan, in fact, is really angry about that egg.
Yeah, the vegan is like going, that's not how you protest, man.
Dude.
Go and harass them at home.
You're harshing my mellow. Anyway, Steph did forget the eggs in a custard dish, and I feel we had to lead off with that, even though it happened at the end of the challenge. Because poor Steph, I mean, she tried to Macguyver out of it, and the reason why I wanted to lead off is, before we get into what happened in the rest of the challenge, I do have to ask you a very important question.
Yes.
If Macguyver was on Masterchef, what do you want him to make? See, while you think about that, I'm just going to regard... I've done this before. I've mentioned this. I'm sure I've mentioned this on the podcast before. But anytime I can mention my favourite episode of the TV show Macgyver is a golden day. So Macgyver's in a coma while Kristie's coming up with her idea of what she wants Macgyver to make. Macgyver's in a coma. The whole thing takes place on a boat, but it's a boat within his subconscious.
Yep.
And the boat is at the dock and it's going to pull out to sea. And by pull out to sea, I mean he dies. And so Macgyver is trying to get off the boat because there's bad guys on the boat that want to trap Macgyver and send him to the afterlife. But Macgyver doesn't want to do that. So Macgyver fastens a cable and manages to rip the door off its hinges. He gets out, he does a running leap off the deck of the boat and escapes the afterlife. This is not imagined. It happened. And then he talks about it when he comes to and has a long conversation with everybody before he does a typical Macgyver freeze frame smile shot as the producer's name is put over his face. It's the greatest episode of bad television in history.
Dean Anderson.
Macgyver escapes the afterlife.
All right.
It is so good. What would you want Macgyver making in the Masterchef kitchen?
Well, he's obviously going to go for something akin to duck à l'orange.
Of course he is.
But hear me out how he makes it.
Oh, good. This will be good.
Condiments bar at a truck stop.
Yep.
He can only use whatever he can find in a condiments bar at a truck stop. This includes cooking implements. So he's got the use of, say, tomato and barbecue sauce, salt, pepper, equal... sugar, both raw and refined. he's got plastic spoons, plastic forks, plastic knives, or if he's gone to an eco-ish truck stop, maybe wooden ones, but I doubt it.
Crack cocaine,
serviettes. It's whatever he can find anywhere that isn't like the main food area.
Methamphetamines.
Yeah, an old 5-day-old newspaper.
Oh wow.
Used condom.
It's like the cheese. It's like putting the cheese through the cloth.
Yeah. Just ring it out. Oh, we went there.
Adds the flavour.
Oh, that extra flavour.
The credits roll.
It's Macguyver smiling, digging into his, duck a l'orange. Duck a la truck stop.
That would be the greatest challenge ever.
I know, he actually wanders out and finds some roadkill, like roadkill duck.
I know what week I would want Macguyver there for.
What one?
Heston Blumenthal.
Oh, that would work.
Because let's face it, any man who has previously served things like ball bearings within his food, you want Macguyver there because, he can Macguyver that shit.
Yeah.
And, make it... again, if you've ever seen the Heston's, large food thing, that's just made for Macguyver.
Oh, absolutely. And I reckon he'd serve it. What he'd do, he'd get a fire extinguisher and he'd just start, running it, and all the food would come out perfectly layered one on top of each other. He would do a layer cake that would come out through the extinguisher and layer itself. No, they're paired up in teams and he's with Anushka.
He's with Anushka? Okay, that's fair enough, and that's allowed. Now, what we did learn about Nigella Lawson tonight was that Nigella Lawson was a custard monitor.
Children, what would you like to be when you grow up? I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police officer. I want to work in a butcher shop. I want to be a custard monitor.
And I like the fact that she was a custard monitor until she got sacked at school for abusing the privilege. That sounds like such a British toff euphemism. What was he doing in your rooms? He was abusing the privilege.
Yes, he was serving skim of the custard.
So it was like
to people who didn't want skin on the custard.
But that was then this big debate about do you serve them skin or not. I like a bit of skin on my custard, as says Gary, who in himself was fucking hyperactive. Did they give the man sugar?
Oh my God.
He reminded me at one point of Apu in The Simpsons, the hummingbird. And we've mentioned him before already this series. But Gary buzzing around Nigella at one point tonight it was.
And he was in that phase where he was mimicking, there's Matt trying to say something and using his hand gestures, and there's Gary right across from him mimicking him back, and I'm like...
And at one point he was twirling. I'm sure he was twirling towards freedom. He put his arms out and was spinning in a circle when she was talking about being a custard monitor. And Nigella looked at him as if to say, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Gary, I think there's a bit of white powder under that nose of yours.
Gary, just
give it a little rest there, dude.
And George is looking at him going...
Come on.
Oh God. I mean, it's me. I usually do that. That's me. That's my job. Gary, stop with it. Stop with it.
Now, I think the choices for the custard thing were great. They were from a range, going from, your humble homemade with Jess, who had no fucking chance because we only saw 10 seconds of her tonight.
Hey. Yeah. Say what you want.
Yeah.
But that'll lead me to a point. After you go through everyone else's custard, I have to bring up somebody else. Because you're not going to mention him. Because why would you?
I don't know. Because it'd be really, 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 really terrible or something. Okay, so then we have what's-her-facey Steph with her eggless custard that suddenly had eggs in it and didn't bake well. But it tasted great with the mango and the black rice. That sounds good. What's-her-facey? Tessa Keddy with her chocolate chili creme brulee, which I thought was a fabulous idea.
Talk about Mr. Zoolander.
And then we have Derek, whose buns, he just wants them to be gooey on the inside, I like my buns gooey on the inside. And that's really true for life, when you're out there just making buns, breaking buns, you want to be gooey on the inside.
His exact quote is, I love my buns, but if the inside isn't oozy and runny.
That's right.
Now, the funny part about that was the buns were dry.
And I told you that. I said, I reckon it's going to soak through.
It looked like it was going to soak through, and sure enough, it It's
So
so
true.
true. Now, we'll get to Simon in a minute.
Who are we missing? We're not missing anyone?
We're not missing on. Yeah, we are, and that's the point. So,
That's right, the Nathan.
this is where I was waiting to go for. Not the Nathan, the Trent.
The Trent, sorry.
If it was
the
a
Trent.
Nathan, his name would be written on a plate by his mother. But the Trent of this series, when Blake makes it to a fucking immunity challenge and you don't see
Love
him.
him. Because I'm sure I'm missing someone. Who is it?
What was annoying was like Jess got no time, but she got enough time to speak to the camera. Blake didn't even speak to the camera. Blake just existed in the background of
I
shots.
think he's Trent's cousin.
I am convinced he's the boom microphone guy.
Look. You were supposed to be out in week 2, but we just need another body there.
We've got a problem, you see. We're only sending women home.
That's right. You got a penis.
You got to stay for a
It's
bit.
your problem, mate. Penis before hose.
Look, are you prepared to get a sex change in order to leave this? Because if you are, we'll send you
We'll
home.
help you out.
But Blake, to give you an idea of just how little they showed Blake, I wrote everybody's dishes down. So I wrote Simon's. We'll get to that in a minute. Derek's salted egg yolk custard buns. Jess, I wrote just no because there was no chance she was going through. Steph tries to sell that it tasted better than it did. 2 of the judges. Tessa's chili chicken creme brulee. Blake, I simply wrote, why even bother? Because there was absolutely no chance they were going to show anything that Blake did all night. Again, I said last night when we were talking. I said the other night when we were talking about it. Simon and Blake are on the same team. We're finally going to get proof they're different people. No, I can't. I cannot, in all good conscience, say they're not the same person running back and forward really fast because.
We don't have
have enough proof from Blake. First of all, I'm not convinced that Blake's maybe not even animatronic.
He's just an automaton, a Masterchef automaton come to life.
Could be a hologram. I didn't even see him cook. I didn't see him pick up objects.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez.
I didn't see him.
Occasionally he breaks out, I don't want no skirt.
I've still not seen him pick up an object. Like, have you seen him pick up a single thing in the kitchen?
Was he carrying the plate over? I mean, it could be holographic food because they basically said it's dry.
I don't even know if he necessarily... But again, they could have filmed him just carrying a generic plate.
Yeah.
Have we seen him actually physically pick something up off a bench?
Because I'm sure if
we have.
in the Masterchef credits, we're going to see CGI production.
But it's just... I worry about poor Blake. Because, I mean, it's good because if they forget he's there, it'll make the grand final.
Look, quite frankly, I'm not worried about Blake. He's a white male,
He's a white male, he'll be fine. Speaking of white males...
He'll be fine because, you've still got Tati there, you've still got Larissa there.
There's so many people they can send home.
A lot of other vaginas between him and going home.
A lot of them.
Yep.
So Simon, his Japanese custard. Now, he decided to do savoury.
Yep.
He said, I can't understand it. Everyone around me was doing sweet. It's a custard challenge, Simon. And I know you can do savoury custards, and obviously you did a savoury custard and it went quite well, but the majority of people will do a sweet custard because custard, I don't know if you're aware, is sweet.
And I just want to push pause there. Your fucking privilege is showing. Not all of us have the money and the means to get over to Japan and, have new dishes that we can come back to the MasterChef kitchen and go, oh my God, I totally tried this in, Kyoto where they, from the original master of set custards. So, you know what I mean? It's why aren't people thinking savoury custards? It's because in most common areas, it's usually a sweet custard.
I think the way he said it was more the problem than the fact that he went over there and tried it. I can't criticise him for going over.
No, what he did, great. But we're saying, why isn't anyone else doing a savoury one?
That was the weird part was when he was like, I'm confused that no one else is doing a savoury custard. And I'm like, no, not really. That would be like making like the cheesecakes and being surprised that no one else is making one of those light, fluffy Japanese cheesecakes. It's because they're a real pain in the ass to make, and you'd really need to go and practice and learn it. And not everyone's going to have that time. So more importantly about the Japanese custard.
Yep.
George gave him his tweezers.
Yeah, he certainly did.
God, it was creepy.
It was. I was thinking a handshake. I'm thinking, he's going for a Hollywood handshake. No, gives him the tweezers.
Now, Simon, at this point, should have just thrown them as far as he could.
Why?
Get them away from the kitchen.
Why?
Because if we can get rid of George's tweezers, our lives will be so much better.
Just do us all a favour.
But then George is like, I've got plenty of them. I carry them on me at all times.
I'm sure he's got a prescription.
Prescription? No, I think he has a prescription.
And a caddy. He's got a tweezer caddy just off to the side.
I like the idea that he actually has a prescription for
Can
it.
you hand me the 9 iron tweezer? No. That's the 4. I wanted the 9. Does that look like a 9 to you?
Now, we need to address something, and I don't think we're going to address this in the way that people think we are. Billie.
Yep.
Okay, so my position on Billie, I'll put my position forward and then you can either rip it to shreds or whatever you want to do with it.
Okay.
I think Billie has been placed in the absolute worst position that anybody on this show could possibly be placed on. You've got her next to Poe, who is a seasoned television performer and who knows her way around a kitchen with a camera in her face at all times and has had time to practice that personality. You've got her next to Matt Sinclair, who is just a presence, like him or dislike him, whatever you feel about him. He's a presence, and he has a forceful personality. And again, right or wrong, he has one. And that's not Billie. Billie is absolutely lovely and very knowledgeable and knows her stuff inside out and is absolutely lovely in every way, shape and form and can give amazingly good advice. The way they are using her tonight felt really bad because for a start it looked like Nigella was just dragging her around the kitchen like she was an underling and was like, come with me. Then, when they asked for opinions, they got everyone's opinion and then looked at Billie and went, what do you reckon, Billie? And Billie just felt like at the end she was forced into a, yeah, at the end over the top of everybody else. And it's almost like she's an afterthought. Someone took this really nasty and went, boo, why do you hate on Billie? And I went, I didn't hate on Billie. What I said was they are treating her like an afterthought. She doesn't have the presence of the others. That is 100% true. She wanted to be on the farm. Like you can see, she wants to be on the farm. But she's not bad. It's just that this is not her strength. What they need to do is work out where her strength lies in this format and use her.
Yeah.
Because she's a wasted asset.
I thought she was quite good on the masterclass. I mean, she had her own cooking show for a bit.
Yep.
I mean, she obviously has had media training. Tonight I saw some moments where I could see her developing and becoming more the kind of personality that will cut through in this format. But it's not her naturally. And I don't think it's going to give her any confidence in... Not confidence. She's obviously confident. She's a very intelligent, skilled woman. And it just frustrates me that she's in this situation that is not right for her. And I saw it tonight when she came across with Simon doing his pee thing. And it wasn't... Her coaching wasn't as...
The stuff that she wants to do is right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she's got that forceful personality to just say to somebody else, this is where you should be going with this. Or are you sure? Like Poe last week, when she was there mentoring with the pin challenge coming up, Poe turns around and just goes,
have you tasted it?
Have you tasted that? Taste it. Right. What do you think you should be doing with that now?
Yeah.
Right. I thought the way that Poe handled that last week was great because she's got that strength of character and personality and confidence in that kitchen, in that environment with TV cameras on her to do that. Billie's not that.
But she's lovely.
And that's the thing.
She's so nice.
Find what she's good at. Maybe use her purely around when you do the masterclasses, make that Billie's domain.
I wonder if she'd be fantastic to be able to take the to do an education thing, like take them around to markets and
that would be good.
Kind of thing,
like,
or
get her to do that.
Cheese tasting and
like when they take
milk in a cow.
When they suggested things like take them to areas and go and do a challenge outside, maybe add a bit where you'd get Billie to take them around and show them some of this stuff because she's got that ability and got that understanding and she can make use of it quite effectively. Yeah,
because when other people do it, they always look like they're being a spokesperson for, big carrots or whatever. I reckon Billie would do it in such a way that it's actually about exploring the food and coming across that way. Oh.
It's hard, and it's hard too, because Australia sort of feels like, on one hand, they hate what the three judges do a lot. But on the other hand, if you did something that was different from the three judges, Australia would hate the fact that it wasn't the three judges.
Yeah.
And you're kind of stuck in this really messy, horrible spot where you can't do anything different, but the same is boring and bland and shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
And it's old and tired, and it's... You're in a really bad spot. I don't blame them for trying something new, and I don't necessarily think it's failed, but I think that they need to find a better way to make use of Billie, because I didn't like what she was copying on social media. I thought that was a bit shit.
Yeah.
A lot of people bagging her out and going, she's fucking useless and blah, 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 and she's not that at all.
She's not useless.
I just thought that, again, the way they've presented her, they haven't presented her in a way that is...
This is not her strength.
Is helpful. So now that we got that out of the way, they went off and did another chat.
Yep.
And were they going to put them both through again? No, we were going with Simon. So then we got, ladies and gentlemen, please pretend to know.
Someone who turned out to be a fucking awesome sandwich.
I don't even remember his name.
Joshkin.
Oh, Joshkin, that's right. And he's the in Melbourne, Turkish restaurant. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I don't know who this guy is. I did say to you before the episode, I think that the winner is going to be the professional, because the way Matt Preston said his 9 out of 10 is the way he would address a professional.
Yep.
It sounded in the promo like he was talking to a professional. He wasn't talking to a contestant. You can tell the difference in tone. So
anyway,
they got into the challenge, and the challenge was, it was any 5 ingredients. Duck was the first ingredient.
Yep.
Garlic.
Nice choice. Yep.
Onions.
Bay leaves.
And then peas. Now, first of all, we weren't the only ones. There were a number of people who went, you had us until peas. Secondly, and far more importantly, a week after featuring the locals.
And the fresh produce.
And the local fresh produce. They went to the local fresh produce of the freezer section at Coles.
It's local. It's from your local Coles.
No added hormones. Sorry. So...
I don't want those testosterone-filled peas.
Oh, nothing worse than a testosterone pea.
Oh, I need some estrogen peas to really keep myself glowing. They're HRT peas. Just, I'm having a hot flush. Down some peas and you can use the frozen ones to cool yourself off at the same time.
Give us your hot flushes.
I'm onto a winner. Pharmaceutical companies, come at me.
You hear that, big pharma? We've got your answer. All right, so we got into the challenge and Simon instantly decides to confit a duck leg.
Yep.
And...
No, it usually takes, what did he say? 3 hours.
Well, Derek did that with his buns that take 3 hours. And how long you got, Derek? Oh, not that much. Oh, we'll try it anyway. No. Again, confying a duck leg takes a bit longer than that. And the other thing was the way that he then cut it when he took the duck leg out. Now, Simon has had a bad week when it comes to using knives. He had a blue bandage on his hand. That's not good for a start. But, of course, we all remember what he did to the salmon in the local challenge. And then he butchered a duck leg really badly, to the point where the judges looked at it, they went, what has happened to the rear end of that duck leg?
There is one thing I'm grateful of Simon being on Masterchef for. That's that he's not pursuing a career as a surgeon.
I'm so thrilled.
Like, him and a scalpel. Just
no.
come out.
No, I can't imagine him with a scalpel.
You just need to do keyhole surgery and you end up with fucking, like, Frankenstein-like scars. Full zipper down the front. I'm sorry. I couldn't work out how just to take the top off.
Now, my biggest...
It's just all... Fuck it, just all of it's coming out. Jagged scars down your trunk.
Now, my biggest disappointment with this challenge was Nigella actually made a specific reference to the fact that she demanded Gruyere cheese.
Yep.
And then Simon didn't use it.
No, fuck the Gruyere.
That's the reason...
Coming straight from the underground.
That's the reason he didn't win.
Yeah.
Because Nigella's like, I picked Gruyere. I've had a lot of influence in this. I love Gruyere. And Simon's like, I'll go with the frozen peas. That's what I want, Nigella. I don't want your Gruyere cheese. I want frozen peas.
He's like, angling for Nigella or the big sponsor? I know who I'm going for.
Coles frozen peas. They're wonderful. They're great. He's going for the
Guess
going
what's
for the
going to be on
Curtis.
sale at Coles this week?
Ta! Frozen peas for you. Frozen peas
Suck shit.
for me.
Ew.
Frozen peas.
Stop it.
For them. Ta!
Don't do a jingle for peas. There should be like we can wipe out fucking white rhinos or black rhinos. We can fucking wipe out species like they're going out of fashion. Why can't we get rid of peas? Just,
I agree, 100%.
you know, if climate change guaranteed the elimination of peas,
I'd be all for it.
I might become a denier.
So then the professional starts cooking, and it's clear from about the first 30 seconds this challenge is over.
Yep.
Like the way he takes the duck, and he's like, I'm going to mince the first bit of this there, and then I'm going to take a bit of the skin as well, and we're going to put that through and use it with the duck fat, and then just fry that off in a pan, and everyone's just like, he wins.
Yep.
I don't care what he does now. And Simon's like, I'm trying to comment. And then he tried to make the pea puree and split it.
Yeah. Pea custard.
Pea custard, and that split badly.
And he went for a pea
that was
puree.
just proof that you don't fuck with custard by adding peas.
Now, this is where the producers and Simon are very lucky to have Leah in the show, because everyone else is just like craning their necks over the gantry looking at Joshkin, who's just elegantly and gracefully whipping this dish together. Like, some professionals go in and like panic. He's like, no, I got this. All right, I see what's going on. And there's Leah basically solo clapping along Simon.
Leah was a one-person cheer squad. The reason why Leah is never leaving this competition is someone has to cheer when no one gives a shit. That person is Leah.
Even Tim's over going, go on, go Joshkin.
Yeah, Tim didn't narrate all night apart from to yell out to Joshkin to go.
It's like, fuck the local cooks. I'm going for the ring in from down the road.
Tim's looking down at his bro and going, well, that guy's got really good food, actually. Yeah. Sorry, Simon, I understand. That looks good.
Like, I'll see you in the Bromage later when we unify.
The idea that they all form into one big blob at the end is terrifying. It's petrifying. Now, they go in to do the judging, and it's not really close. You can see very early on, the first dish, they loved it. They brought in the second dish, which was Simon's. The judges look at it, and there's a moment of, what the fuck is that? And Simon, before he put it out, was like, I know the confit leg isn't actually confied, but I'm going to put it on the plate anyway.
Yeah.
And the first thing that Gary says is, the one thing we always tell you is if an element doesn't work, don't put it on the plate. And this confit leg. And then George is trying to pull it to pieces, and Gary looks at him and goes, it's not happening.
Now, when Gary's gone, now, what's happened to that duck? I can just see in George's mind, well, I know one guy with knife skills like that.
George is going, I've seen this movie before. I don't know how this ends. So
I'm surprised he didn't try and serve it covered up. just
upside
like
down.
Upside down like he's salmon.
He's just serving upside down duck.
Just
turn it over.
It.
No, it's good. I like that. 9s across the board.
Like when my mum used to serve us half burnt toast.
Yeah.
You know, like,
that's an effort.
No one's going to notice the black side. Yes, we do. We bite into that shit too. Anyway.
9s across the board for the professional, and then 6s across the board for Simon.
As he said, just above average.
And what was really funny about that was they turned the first card over, and Simon just looked and nodded and went, yeah.
I think he's surprised he actually got a 6.
I think he's stunned he broke 5. Simon knew he was dead, so no pin, and so that ultimately means that tonight was for nothing.
Yeah, he was a fish in a barrel.
And that just makes tonight
duck in a confit.
A wasted evening. We could have done something else with our time because we watched people cook for no apparent purpose. Now that I've ruined our night,
thank you for
bringing us down.
Look, we're really upping the tone here. We're really, oh no, I see what's happening. Remember that excitement of 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, again, the problem, here's the problem.
Oh no.
No, here's the problem. The problem is it hasn't been bad.
Yeah.
it's been nothing.
Yep.
And nothing is almost worse than bad because, and look, I'm not saying this to bag out the show, but if you saw the ratings midweek,
Ooh.
Lego Masters got 1.2, House Rules got 670 or something like that. Masterchef was in the mid 500s. It was the lowest of the major networks. It was almost being caught by ABC. Not rating well at the moment, and this is Nigella week, which is a killer. So hopefully for them they work it out. Now next week they're going with the next week's run they're going with, because we've still got obviously tomorrow night and Thursday night, but then from next Sunday we have what they're referring to as the Week of Legends.
Yeah.
But if you work it out, we're only getting a night with each of them.
Yep.
So Ottolenghi is there. Rick Stein is there for a bit.
Massimo?
No, not Massimo.
Oh,
Not Massimo. No. We better get a fucking week with Massimo.
Yeah.
We've got who else? The British female, really good desserts. I've gone blank.
That's my job.
Yeah, I know. I've gone blank. That's a problem. Yeah, so we've got like the five. They're referring to as the Week of Legends, but we're only getting a night with each.
Now, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge Jess tonight, who on the gantry, she's obviously being told, say some things, and she's just there casually, like, just touching ears. Come on, guys, you got 10 minutes to go. Like, but she enunciated it so well and did it so well. But just the look, she's just like, kind of like this cool, it was very Gina Peretti.
Yes.
Kind of like coolness.
I get a Gina
still
Peretti
into
vibe.
it.
I get a Gina vibe. It's Christina, yeah.
No, it's Chelsea Peretti.
Yeah.
And Gina, oh my God.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans are killing you.
They go, God damn it, Kristie, you know you're not a Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan. Fuck off. Yeah, anyway. So, bone. Moving along.
Well, that went really well. So...
That's not a Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan. That's just some common bitch.
That's just some common bitch.
There you go. Did I redeem myself? Probably not.
Let's go with yes, you did.
Yeah.
So...
Gina Linetti.
Well done.
Ta-da!
You got there eventually in the end.
And
You got there in the end. Linetti, Peretti, it's very close.
yeah.
So it's kind of been nothing, which is worrying. Tomorrow is the library challenge, which is interesting in itself, and Nigella's acting seems to leave.
Fly, my pretties.
It is. I want somebody tomorrow night. We've seen a bit of a preview of the opening tonight.
to give it with some ravens.
I don't care who it is, but somebody has to get that moment and manage to overdub "Fly, my pretties" when she tells them all to go cook. Yeah, we need it to happen, and then maybe when they bring the plates up for the judging, someone can overdub "We welcome you to the neighborhood."
Her outfit also does look like Jareth the Goblin King. Like, it's just, but with fringe.
Dance magic.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good.
You remind me of the puree. Puree with the power.
So I would also suggest to everybody, get the game cards ready, because I think the next 2 nights we're in for a real treat on the drinking game.
Yep.
So until next episode, which will be Sunday night, when also we have our Eurovision episode on Sunday as well. So it's a big week of podcasts. Until then, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we'll catch you all then.
Mwah!